and we're back with our guest, Shae Paradise of a Judgmental Swarm of Bees. So, I was just kidding earlier. This is not a 1 hour intensive. We're going to listen to your incredible discography. I am a huge fan of The Swarm. From when I first heard it, I think I first heard it roughly a year ago. We've known each other about that long, and I've been in love ever since.
He's lying. He's a kiss butt.
That is so true. That's so true, but not in this instance. I am truly a huge fan of The Swarm. It is a collection of people who move in and out of the band.
Correct.
I consider it the Mountain Goats-esque in that Shae and your mother on a banjo is a Judgmental Swarm of Bees. But there's a core group. Why don't you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, definitely Swarm has seen a lot of people come and go. I often feel like it's more of a music collective than a band, especially recently, and I'm trying to kind of lean into that more with encouraging a lot more people to kind of, just join in when they can. I used to do this thing where I would tell people, just bring your instrument, we'll provide sheet music, hop on stage with us, just go for it. But at its core, Swarm started with me and my friend from high school, Megan. I wrote the album in the summer between high school and college. And then my first semester, I messaged Megan and I was like, hey, we've played songs before. I got all of these original songs now. Do you want to play? You want to do some drums? You want to hit some things for it? And she was on board with that. And so we did that. And then a little while later, Maddie joined on banjo at the time because we had a couple of bass players going in and out. But now Maddie has transitioned from being our banjo player to our permanent bass player.
Love Maddie.
Yes.
If you've listened to the show, we've shout out many a Rat Den show, and they are sort of the brain behind the Rat Den. You, as a matter of fact, similar to I used to run the Dojo Beyond Time and Space, a.k.a. DJ Dojo. But you used to run your own house called Queered House.
Yes.
Tell us all about it. Aren't I a great interviewer? I'm like, here's an obscure fact about you. Talk about it.
Yeah. Yes, Queered House was the best year of my life by a long shot. That was when I was living in Troy with my very good friend, Zoe Lewis.
Funny you bring up Zoe, because the next song that we're about to play is Brownies for Breakfast, which we've played many a time on this show.
Yes.
Are they the person who appears on the cover?
Yes,
of
they
that
are.
single?
Yes. Zoe, dramatic to say saved my life, but saved me from a very, what could have been bad. Because I had moved to Boston very spontaneously around 2018 or 19 or whatever. And it kind of blew up. I had to come home very quickly. I didn't want to go back to living with my grandparents. Not a great environment. So I posted on Facebook.
Oh, we are talking about the parents.
Yeah, I'm very open about it. I love my grandparents. Can't live with them. So I posted online to see if anyone had a room. And Zoe was just moving into this place in Troy. It was a little hole in the wall. The rent total was $500. We each paid $250. It was we got what we paid for, but it was very cheap.
Imagine.
And after living there for a while and kind of settling in, because I was only supposed to be there for a very short time, but I ended up staying, and me and Zoe, we had always known each other for a very long time, but then we started hanging out more and just really getting along, and then we were both getting into music, so we started doing this venue. We had this idea for this venue, and we were an upstairs apartment, so we couldn't go super crazy, so we would do 2 acoustic acts and 2 or 3 drag queens throughout the night.
Oh, I couldn't get too crazy.
Yes.
There was just 1 or 2 drag queens. Yeah. I mean,
no drum kit though.
Makes my evening, to be honest.
Yes. They were gentle drag queens.
I've got pretty low standards for a good afternoon, I guess.
Yes.
So with that context, are they also the vocalist on Brownies for Breakfast?
No, they do not do any vocals on Brownies for Breakfast, but on the demo there are little sound bites of introductions and midway points, and that is Zoe speaking with a heavy filter on.
Very cool. Very cool.
So she did some monologuing.
So we are going to listen to that song right now. Now that you have the background context, which is very necessary to listen to the song, I must say.
Yes,
I didn't.
Yes.
I know I played the song 100 times on my radio show, but I didn't really get it, and I didn't really like it until just now hearing the context.
And now you know.
This is a heavy sarcasm based podcast radio show. Whoops. But here we go. Brownies for breakfast.
Don't know why I feel so sad. Don't know why I feel so bad. Don't know why I can't relax. Punch my face in, is this relapse? Don't know why I feel so strange, like there's someone in my brain, and I just want to know her name. I want you all to know her pain. I don't know why I can't move on. I promised myself that I'd hold strong, but no one knows what else is wrong. And Jesus Christ, it's been so long. Am I the antagonist inside all your stories? Or is my life too boring to even get that much glory? Am I allowed to be the person I lock inside? Or must I keep it covered, put a lid on all my thoughts?
And so that was Daisy. I'm big apologies, folks. I was expecting brownies for breakfast. You can't always get brownies at breakfast, unfortunately. Again, we're here with Shae Paradise, listening through some of their discography, but Daisy's very interesting. It was very difficult to find.
Yes, my jaw dropped when it started playing because I thought I had scrubbed that from the internet.
But you were telling me this was an early release.
Yes.
You played this while you were out in Boston.
Yes, I wrote and recorded this song in my van when I was living in Boston. And this was around the time that I was coming out as non-binary. And this was sort of like my coming out song. That, just like my gender, I got incredibly self-conscious about, and so I scrubbed it from the internet. But Aiden dug his little claws into all the little cracks and folds of the internet, and he dragged it out. But it's fine.
So true, so true. So you have an upcoming show.
Yes.
I believe this is Frank's show.
It is.
The titular Frank show.
Yes.
At Ben's Lampshade.
Correct.
That's coming up soon. It should be a really good show. I was looking at the talent, and
Arrow Sparrow is playing their own set, and also will be playing flute with us.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the beautiful things. I mean, I go and watch E Block, right? Big fan of E Block, and one of their big things is their features, right? So they'll bring these really talented hip hop and R&B artists, and you'll bring just about everybody.
I'll bring anyone. If you got an instrument, you can kind of play it. You're in the band now.
Absolutely, and that's the way we love it. We love being inclusive. So the next song that we are about to play is off of what I would call your most popular album.
Yes.
For the purposes of a radio show, we are going to call it Let's Try This Again.
Shoot, let's try this again.
Yes. Shoot, let's try this again. But this song is Honeycomb off of Let's Try This Again. So let's give that a listen too.
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ever in my mouth.
All right, and that was Honeycomb off of Let's Try That Again.
It was this time.
And I'm going to be honest with you folks, I had a little recording difficulty in that my CDs didn't log correctly. So it's I think I have an idea of what's going to play next, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure what's next is going to be a reference to what we had played earlier. And that is an allusion to the fact that that this album, Let's Try This Again, is trying it again from a previous recorded attempt.
Yes.
Called Something to Be Proud of.
Yes.
So I'd like you to take me into that. Like, what made you decide to record something, especially something that I found, so I went through and I listened to your discography, and I thought a lot of the rawness in Something to Be Proud of was a huge advantage. Now, I really did. I liked most of the tracks I liked better in Let's Try This Again, but I found, let me see, which ones did I really like? I liked Where I Came From, which I think we'll be playing next. I liked Fake All Along, Pseudo Connection, and Hollow. I liked those better in Frankenstein, better in the original than the other one. So what, in your mind, were the things that you had to go over and correct?
It wasn't so much about correcting anything, because I was pretty happy with it. I was just like so eager to put out music, because I had been performing with Megan around like by the time that I put out Something to Be Proud of. But we hadn't gotten around to recording, and I had this very inspiring professor at Hudson Valley who told me one day that the hardest part about doing anything is starting, and that you just have to like get over that wall and just start. And I was so inspired by that I went home and I started recording. So I did all the instruments on that. I did all like everything.
It is such an incredible leap of faith in any act of creation. I primarily do stand-up as my form of writing and creation, and the jump you have to make, and most people in stand-up comedy have to be absolutely in a different state of mind to do that their first time. Yeah. And I imagine with a musician just how much more vulnerable it is. Yeah. It makes it just that much harder. Yeah. But it's just that much more important. Yep. Right? Because I see all these musicians and they're absolutely killing it in their live performances, and most of them have recorded material before they're out here touring. That's crazy. Yep. Now, how'd you come up? What was, I assume there was an open mic scene, or something along those lines.
But just to finish,
I apologize.
No, you're okay. Because the reason I was like, shoot, let's do this again, is because I put this album out and I was happy about it, but it was like lonely. Like, I don't like doing things by myself, and that was never what Swarm was meant to be. I started Swarm so that I could play as much music as I could with as many friends as I could, and that's why so many people have come and gone, and I've played with so many people for a short stay, because they're just like, yeah, I'll do this for a while. I'm like, yeah, come on, join us for a while. Join us on this tour. Join us on this tour. And so it's always been about people, so I wanted to redo it, all the same songs, with the friends that it was supposed to be about. And so we did it again together.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And the reason, the way we started, the way that me and Megan started making music together, was we formed a band for a high school talent show. We were called the Fox News Report, spelled F-A-U-X.
No.
We played, forget what we played. We played Anti-Flag, Ramones, and we played Lady Killer by AJJ. For this talent show. At the end of the Blitzkrieg Bop, I ripped my shirt off on stage, threw my glasses into the crowd, lost both lenses.
Every time I think that you can't get more adorable and hotter, you get more adorable and hot. It's so messed up. One of the things I like about your discography is you're not afraid to veer into the political. Which I mean, as an alt folk person, it might not be necessarily brave within the genre to get political. But most of your discography feels very much about love, romance, that angle, intimacy, really, between romantic partners and with friends. Mm-hmm. And one's relationship with yourself. Mm-hmm. And then you have some really cool standout pieces. I think it's called Republican Tune. Yeah. I thought was great. Another honorable mention that I couldn't play on the show was Solar Homicide.
Yeah.
Love that. Deeply existential.
Yeah, that's my super nihilism song.
Love it.
About like everything is bad enough already. Let's just blow up the sun and get it over with.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
It's the edgiest song I've ever wrote. But it's fun.
So hopefully we've got a song up next from that original album so folks at home can hear what I love so much in it. This should be Pseudo Connection.
Okay.
Yes, let's hope.
3, 4. I've got trouble making friends, fear that I might say something wrong. There's a fireman in everyone, I mean dead, and an arsonist dead me. I try to fight it, but no amount of medication could ever truly hide it. Hold on to me like America holds on to 9/11, 2001. All this bullshit and shitstorms, I just wanna feel like I'm adding to you more than you're gone. I'm not a plagiarist, and I will never see a therapist because my family does not believe in my mental illness. She says, God's got your back, but you can't pray away the heart attack. Don't be so dramatic, no, not in this house. If you need a breakdown, go take a walk around town. It's not that I really wanna die, I'm just tired of being alive. I wanna live until I lose all my hair. It just takes so goddamn long to get there. And the fire in my skull is burning through my spine. Fear of not knowing what comes next is the only thing that's keeping me alive. And the way I grew up is the reason I have these illusions. I just want someone to hold my hand. I just need some help with all my plans.
All right, folks, and that was Fake All Along
Not
off
Pseudo
of
Connection.
and not Pseudo Connection, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I had a CD error, but we are back with Shae.
I'm still here.
We had a little correction. I didn't realize Something to Be Proud Of was not the first release.
Aiden just dropped his mic.
Yep. Oh my goodness, this show
You
is
figured that
just
out. I'll
going
do the talking.
wrong.
Yes, I was wrong. Something to Be Proud Of was not my first release. Me and Megan did put out something together before that. We did a little demo of Honeycomb and Pseudo Connection that was on SoundCloud. And then I wrote the rest of the album and went nuts.
My goodness, we could not be having more technical errors for this show. Wow.
That was technically a mechanical error.
That's true. That is technically a mechanical error.
Yeah.
Please don't yell at me, Chief Engineer Darius.
He caught the mic.
I love
it
you
didn't
so much.
like hit
I caught
anything.
it. It fell apart. I wasn't playing with it.
Yep.
I have an eyewitness.
Yep.
I would have had video, but I'm not so lucky. Okay, so while we were listening to that song, I realized I was sort of nodding my head. I didn't really know how to externalize how much I enjoy that music, and I asked Shae, what is your ideal reaction from a crowd?
Yes.
Is it a nod of acknowledgement? Is it a clear, deep emotional connection in your eyes? Is it moshing?
Mm-hmm. The easy one is that I definitely love seeing people dance. Because I know personally, I don't dance to anything unless I'm really into it. So I love when I see a crowd like dance, not even just moshing, like genuinely like dancing along to the music makes me very, very happy. And even beyond that, when I see people come back to our shows and they sing along and they know the words, I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
Whoa, this person thinks we're good.
And boy, howdy, do you see that with Swarm? I feel like I've seen a growth in Swarm in the time that I've known the band, and you are just such a showman. I mean, I don't think I can say this about any other band. You implement so many elements into your performance.
Yeah.
There's drawing, like there's art involved in the performance. It's not, I wouldn't, peace and love. I love it. It's a great show element. It's not super high level art, but it's just something to entice you. And kazoos are getting spit out into the audience.
Yep.
There's
been D&D. I've played D&D on stage at shows.
People follow the Swarm.
Yeah.
It is, your fans are like nothing I've ever seen at any other show.
They're good.
And I go to a bunch, I see all these shows, right? No one has as consistently animated an audience like you.
Thank you.
And I don't mean to put anyone down with that. We in the scene are full of great entertainers. Can you talk to me about some of the storytelling elements that you involve in your show to engage your audience? And I'm going to start you off with the drawings.
Okay. So yeah, I love playing shows, and I personally believe that music can be just as visual as it is audible. I love like a visual aspect to shows, which goes very ties into my favorite comedian, Dimitri Martin, who is a comedian who brings a sketch pad on stage with him, and he does all these little drawings, and like it helps him along. And so when I do my, I don't do solo shows often because I like having people with me. But when I do, I got to bring a gimmick with me, and so at times I'll bring this sketch pad where it's like got the song names and little jokes about the songs and little like fillers and talking points. So like that becomes my bandmate. That becomes my little safety net.
I think it is so cheap to you to call it a gimmick. We go to things and we expect them to be one element. Is it not a level of mastery greater that you can put on a masterful art show and there are pieces of theater involved in it? You know what I'm saying?
I just love I love then when things are participatory. So like I love to get the crowd engaged.
Totally.
I always ask for like volunteers to come stick the kazoo in my mouth because I don't have my hands free, and then I spit it back at them and try to make them catch it.
If you hear this beautiful voice and you want to and you want to put the kazoo in their mouth.
Shove the kazoo in my mouth.
You need to go to a Swarm show. And what better one to go to than this upcoming one at Ben's Lampshade.
September 2nd.
Yep.
Yes. I also, just as an additional plug, every last Friday of the month, my friend Aster and I host a circus-themed open mic at Cafe Euphoria. Last Friday of the month, every month, 6:30. We dressed as clowns. I twirled a flag. I spit kazoos. It's you don't have to do a circus act. It's great if you do, but that's the general theme. Do whatever you want.
I am crying and shaking right now, you bringing that up, because I was working a gig at the Fuse Box.
That's okay.
But I wanted to be there so badly.
You got next month.
And I mean, the band that I saw there at Delaney was phenomenal.
Yes.
And they killed it, and they're great musicians. But
were any of them wearing clown makeup?
None of them were wearing clown makeup. They expect me to work this whole gig, and not one performer's wearing clown makeup?
Rude.
It's great. It's criminal. It's criminal. They're just stealing my time, folks.
Selfish.
Stealing my time. So I'm so full of myself. And as an interviewer, I just have to say, I have to give you props. You are rolling with the punches so well.
I'm keeping up.
An interview with me, like, you need debate prep is what you really need.
Yeah, I asked for it. I asked for these questions first, and you didn't give them to me.
That's very true. But look how good you are spontaneously.
Yeah.
My goodness. So we're going to get back into the music.
Okay.
I hope you folks enjoy just a little bit more of that so judgmental swarm of bees. We'll be back in a minute.
This is not a friendship.
We are waiting for.
In a spider's web. You're the window, and I am in your pain. This is not a war to me, despite my vulnerability. I'll hold my tongue as your speaker takes the floor. Locked myself away from my best friend, side A, side B, on repeat until the end. Locked myself away from my best friend, side A, side B, on repeat until the end. Violence becomes first-hand, and compassion has gone away to foreign lands. I ate all the food in my house. Now I'm staring wide-eyed at the door, wondering how many bites till I'm at yours. I just want someone to hold my hand. I just need some help with all my plans. I just want someone to hold my hand. I just need some help with all my plans. I just want someone to hold my hand. I just need some help with all my plans.
Okay, and that was Where I Came From off of Let's Try This Again. We love the album.
Thanks.
So we were talking off mic about what were we talking about?
I completely forgot.
My goodness.
I'm panicking.
Oh, we were talking about the next song that we're gonna play. So let's not for right now.
Yes.
But in a moment.
Remember now.
So that song, Where I Came From.
Yes.
Tell me, give me some context to it.
Yes. So what? So there's some happy parts of this album and there's some sad parts of this album, and most of the sad parts of this album are unfortunately about a group of friends that I had for a good portion of high school that one day just decided they didn't like me anymore and just told me that they never liked me and told me that they never liked having me around, that they don't know why they've been inviting me around this whole time. I was dating someone in that group for a while, and that's probably what kept me in, and as soon as that relationship was over, it just took like a quick downturn. And it was just like this group of bullies so I went for
Sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. You folks might have heard a little interruption. But please continue with your story. This is,
Yes.
I mean, this is crazy. This is one of those things that you hear, like, this is stuff of nightmares. This isn't stuff that happens
it was bad.
in
It was bad. It was
reality.
dark. It made me sad for a very long time. I went from having all of these super cool, amazing friends to having one friend for a very long time, who I'm still very grateful to this day.
And-
So that was where I came from, and then the next song after that is Where I'm Going, where, about a year later, I had this wonderful group of friends who welcomed me in with open arms, and they were so nice to me, and to this day, they are all so nice to me. And that's, where I was going.
Wow, would I have loved to have played that song if the CD had burned correctly. Wow, what a story. And that is such an incredible turnaround, because you truly, I do not know of a person that is put forward as a more positive
That's right.
role model individual to be friends with. just someone who is there for so many people. And people say that about me, but and then I humble myself and I'm like, but you got to meet Shae. Like,
thank you.
It's incredible, and we've built this community in the DIY music space, but in separate efforts. And it just brings together so many incredibly talented people that have similar unfortunate background stories, you know? So the next song we're going to be listening to, we had discussed previously, and that is, I'm sorry, how do you pronounce it?
It is Bas Relief.
Bas Relief. So, folks, you're going to be hearing Bas Relief.
Same time?
Yeah.
All right. Count us in, Colin.
I don't know if I remember the password for that website that covers my tuition. Cigarettes so expensive, and the last time I did party was laced with cocaine. I don't know if I've recovered since. When did my car become your taxi cab? And when did my bed become your hotel room? And when did the idea of putting yourself before others only apply to you and never to me? I was drowning, everything was waging against me, and you pretended not to see. Get off the internet, oh, and look me in the eyes. You don't have to tell me where you go if you left this place tonight. Cigarettes are expensive, but they're cheaper than a bus ticket to get you out of town. I can try and try and try, but I can never keep you around. I was your quick fix, I was a band-aid for your brain. I was alcohol for a wound, now watch me sink down the drain. There are paintings, there is art on the wall, and I have no idea what any of it means. There are paintings, there are sculptures and bas-relief. And as I look at you and hold your head, my relief.
All right, and we are back here with
Back.
Shae Paradise,
Still
the
here.
author of all of these incredible songs.
I did that.
That was Bas Relief.
Bas Relief.
And if you could, please talk a little bit about the meaning of the song
Yeah.
and the meaning of such a mysterious title as Bas Relief.
Yes. So that song, I have done some dating in my life, as most of us have.
No.
I know.
I'm going to
right?
have to cough that.
Yes. Yeah. And some of the people I've dated have not been the best, unfortunately, as it goes sometimes. And Bas Relief is about someone who was not nice to me, to put it lightly. Kind of used me. Would invite me over to hang out, just for me to find out that they invited me over because they needed a ride somewhere.
Wow.
And I would drive them there, and I wouldn't be invited to stay with them. And so it was not very fun. And so that's like the most of that song is describing that relationship. And the last part of that song is about my very dear, dear friend of mine who was like with me throughout all of that and was very supportive with me during that process of like getting through that and making the decision to get out of that relationship. And during that time, we had taken a trip to New York City to go to MoMA, and it was just like there was so much stress built up from that relationship, and like that was just like I finally had like this relief. Like I had a day away. I was hours away from this person. I was just in the city with all of this like art and distractions, and I just had like a very good friend with me, and like everything was okay for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's talking to you. I realize that I've been the toxic person in all of my relationships because I've never needed relief that badly from my relations. But and I want to talk to you, and it's something I find in a lot of singer-songwriters.
Yes.
You say that you write the words, you write the chords to your songs.
Yes.
But if you listen to your instrumentation, it denotes not necessarily the highest level of knowledge of music theory
Correct.
or background in
Correct.
music. And I don't mean that as any type of insult towards you. If anything, it is a compliment to the incredible stuff that you can do and that you've done without that background that I find so many other musicians whose music I enjoy less have, you know?
Yeah. Yes. I try to be a testament to the idea that anybody can do it. I had very little knowledge, and I tried to do a lot with it, and I think I was successful.
And I think it contributes to that raw feeling when you listen to your music that I loved so much in that original album.
Thank you.
And it very much exists. If the re-release didn't exist, if the re-release didn't happen, I would absolutely... I feel that is incredibly raw, but I mean the grittiness of that like first take feel is it's just something you can't miss.
Yep.
So that was Bas Relief.
Yes.
And thank you so much for your openness in this, by the way.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is
I try.
just an incredible
It's very
feeling.
hard for me to talk about myself in general, but if I'm asked, I'm open. It's rare that I'll just start talking about things, but if you ask me a question, like I'll go off.
Wow. So this next song we got, so that was Bas Relief off of Let's Try That Again.
Let's Try That Again.
And this is going to be Hollow off of the same album.
Allegedly.
Potentially, probably, hopefully, crossing my fingers.
There's things that scare me and you tell me to ignore them, so I'll try. You wanna see the world, you're kicking sand in my eyes. Silver lining, please look up and ask me why I'm crying. Please stop talking, I can't take it anymore. The sensory overload is pounding at my forehead, and I can't take it, I'm gonna lose my head. You think you're better than me, but we both will end up dead.
All right, and we are going to prevent 8 seconds of silence real quick.
Jump in.
All right, folks, we're back with Shae. That the song is it's got a little bit of a break in the middle there.
I put a minute-long break in the middle of that song where we do nonsense and throw things around, and no one stopped. No one said that's ear assault.
We're running a little low on time, so I wanted to cut it short. But that's just sort of the Baroque style that you can find in some of these incredible singer-songwriters. Like it truly is like high art, you know?
That is a good song. Go listen to it. Just skip the minute in the middle.
So unfortunately, due to the recording error, we're gonna miss out on. I wanted to get a taste from all of your albums, and we're gonna miss songs from Confidential, Do Not Share, Do Not Duplicate, with a number of special characters.
Yes.
Somewhere in the mix.
Yep.
Can you talk to me about that album and some of the storytelling elements I love in that album? Because you have a narrator at many points in the album.
Yes.
Can you tell me, was that truly meant to indicate that this was a work in progress? Was this album a work in progress, or did it?
It was, and it still is. It is also, not to get ahead of you, but the Christmas albums, it is the reason there hasn't been another Christmas album since. Because, we put out Shoot, Let's Try That Again, and then, the next year we did this Christmas album, and then the next year we did another Christmas album, and then the year after that we did another Christmas album, and it had been so long since we had put out any of, our music, so we were like, no more Christmas, we have to put something out.
Christmas is canceled,
Christmas was
folks.
canceled.
My goodness.
Yes. So I was just eager to get some music out, so I had all these songs written, so I put out some demos. Someday they will be full songs.
Folks, I cannot implore you enough to go check out these Christmas albums. They're being incredibly humble in saying that these are not full works. Each and every one of them, I feel, has a certain amount of love. What made you think to do Christmas albums?
I just love Christmas music. Christmas is not my favorite holiday, but it is my favorite holiday season. I love snow. I love hot chocolate. I love sledding. I like all of the activities, and I like the music. So I said, let's make some more of this.
You will find no greater proponent on college radio of Christmas than I.
Thank you.
My goodness. And I love what you do. Great collaborations, Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yes.
They're
Will
phenomenal.
Kachadurian of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, huge shout out to him. He recorded Shoot, Let's Try That Again. He did the harmonies. He did some he would not have been possible without Will Kachadurian.
So this next song I am hoping to play. We'll see what happens. Little Pause off of their album called Christmas in Cralbany, Volume 1, I believe.
Yes.
Little Pause is off of Volume 1. Why don't you give it a listen? And then please, if you can, you don't need to do anything, but you can find the album on Bandcamp.
Yep.
A Judgmental Swarm of Bees. It's a great listen.
And every year it's been the same thing. Your little paws under the Christmas tree. But it won't be the same this year. This is the first time you won't be here. I hope wherever you are now that you are comfortable and warm. I'll think about you every single day. I miss you now that you are gone. Living on my own, sort of independently, but I've lost the one who's supposed to keep me company and protect me from the darkness. And I just wanna give you one last treat. I wanna take you
All right, folks, and we are back with Shae Paradise of A Judgmental Swarm of Bees. We're coming up at the end of our interview. Unfortunately, it's been a phenomenal time. I've really enjoyed interviewing you, and I know that we're friends, so I just enjoy talking to you generically. But this has been very cool. I feel like I've learned a lot about you. So, Christmas in Crawlbany.
Correct.
That was the album we just listened to. We just listened to Little Paws off of Christmas in Crawlbany 1. Then there's Christmas in Crawlbany 3.
Uh-huh.
And then there's Christmas in Crawlbany 3.5.
Yeah,
Which begs the question, where is Christmas in Crawlbany 2?
Christmas in Crawlbany 2. I almost don't want to, just so, secret for the OGs.
You gotta
But no.
dig. You
No,
gotta
I'm not.
make 'em dig a little
I am
bit.
no gatekeeper. So when Christmas in Crawlbany 2 came out, I was still an active member of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So we were just like, hey, let's put this one under Garbage Patch's Bandcamp. So it's under the Great Pacific Garbage Patch Bandcamp. We just thought we'd, just throw it over there.
Many shout outs to the incredible Great Pacific Garbage
They
Patch.
rock.
I don't want it to be the last question because I feel like this is such a lazy question. What makes you pick your Christmas songs?
Oh, I don't know. It's just, it's just the ones I like. The ones I like that I think that I could do good.
Very fair,
Yeah.
very fair. So we're closing this interview off. It's been a phenomenal time.
Yep.
And we're closing the show out with Silent Night.
Yeah.
I hope you folks have an incredible weekend. And
Merry Christmas.
And have a very merry, merry, merry Christmas.
1, 2, 3, 4. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, oh holy night, shepherds quake, at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts singing Alleluia, Christ the Savior is born, Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
All right, and that was Silent Night off of Christmas in Crawlbany. You have an excellent afternoon. Thank you so much. If you're a musician interested in being interviewed on the show, reach out to me at the Dojo Beyond on Instagram. You have a phenomenal night, Albany.